Well, VeggieTales started out really as an attempt for me to just make a film. To figure out, is there a way that me, a really shy kid with no money, can make a film, can tell a story with animation? And so it was almost more of a technological experiment, than anything else. And then it worked. I made a film. Then it became an experiment. Can I get this into a store? Will someone buy this so I can make another film? And that took about 2 years, but it worked. And so it was never really about me, saying I'm going to flex my creative muscles and show the world, my deepest creative ideas. It was like, okay, I just hired 2 animators. I need to get another film made so that I can pay them, and keep them on staff. And then it turned, once VeggieTales took off, which was about in year 3, once it took off, then it turned into, wait, this has tremendous potential. God has given me something astonishing. He's put me at the wheel of an amazing vehicle. I better not mess it up. And it actually became frightening. It actually became, I could mess this up in so many ways, and God is trusting me with this. I hope I don't blow it. And then there was almost fear, and because suddenly we were selling, 4, 5, 6 million DVDs a year. There was the potential, because of the amount of money coming in, to build a significant film studio, which I didn't know how to do. I'd never done that before, but I was pretty sure that's what God wanted or expected me to do, because why wouldn't he? And that's really when I went off track, was trying to find people that could do that, because I didn't know how, and kind of giving up, letting go of the wheel, giving up of the position God had put me in, to say, here, you build this, because this is really important. It's way more important than I am. And God doesn't want us to mess it up, and ended up messing it up.
So then give us the 30,000 foot view of how everything went south, and then we'll jump into how things are different now.
Everything went south with my first company's Big Idea Productions. Everything went south with Big Idea Productions when I read a business book that explained how you build a successful business. And one of the things you need is a big, hairy, audacious goal. A 20-year goal that will inspire your workers, inspire them to greatness, like putting a man on the moon, a huge goal. And I remember thinking specifically, I don't feel like God has given me that kind of a goal, but this book says I need to have one, or I can't inspire my workers, so I'd better come up with one. And I came up with a 20-year goal and put that on a piece of paper, and it was an ambitious goal. And ambitious goals attract ambitious people. So I staffed up the company with the people that were attracted to that goal, who were so ambitious that they really weren't that interested in listening to me, who's not all that, I'm not a type A alpha male. And it was bringing in these very ambitious executives who were all good, godly men, but I'm not driven in that way, and I couldn't lead them. And that's really when I turned over the direction of the company. And that's when it went off the rails and became something completely different than I thought God wanted me to do.
So then everything goes, and we're back at the starting point.
Yes.
How are things different now? Let's start with a creative standpoint. How do you because you said there's a sizable difference between how you did things then and how you do things now.
Big Idea Productions went bankrupt at the end of 2003. I spent the first half of 2004 looking for the next big thing God wanted me to do. Waiting for him. And I was reading the Bible and I was praying. And it's like, give it to me. I'm ready for round 2. I'm ready to get back in the ring. You don't want to leave me on the sideline, do you, coach? Because, did you see what I can do? And he didn't give me anything. And it was month after month of, what do you want me to write? What do you want me to make? What do you want me to do? And it's just complete silence. And finally, as I'm reading the Bible and praying, finally I realized that this drive to do, to make, to accomplish, was just sinking down. It was slowly fading away. And I remember I finally got to the point where I found myself thinking, I don't need to write anything. that he had taken me to a place where I was ready to make nothing, if that's what he wanted, to just rest in him. And I was like, I guess this is it. I was honestly ready. It's like, okay, God, if you're saying I'm done, I'm fine with that. And it was like 3 or 4 nights later, I woke up in the middle of the night with a story in my head. And it was like, and I saw the whole story, and it was about this lesson that he'd shown me during devotions one day, and I grabbed a yellow legal pad, and like the whole story just wrote itself. And when I finished it, I read it to my wife, and she cried, because it was so moving. And I just thought, okay, is this how it's going to work now? And so stories started coming again, but completely differently. They were now coming out of my devotions, not out of my ambition. They were coming by pursuing God, not by pursuing films, not by pursuing my art. And the lessons in them drove the story effortlessly. And also, they didn't come with anxiety. Because everything I had done, at Big Idea Productions came with, how much is it going to cost? How far is it going to go? How big is it going to be? How many lives is it going to touch? How many animators will it feed? How close? Because I was trying to be Walt Disney. I wanted to be God's Walt Disney. I thought surely he would like that goal. And so everything I did was like, is this getting me closer to that goal? My dream of being God's Walt Disney. And now, God he just killed that. He just said, you and I together are going to take this dream, we're going to put it on the altar, and we're going to kill it. And once I was ready to live the rest of my life without it, he said, okay, now we're going to have some fun. Now we're going to tell some stories, but these stories aren't going to stress you out. This work isn't going to put you in the emergency room like Big Idea did, in year 4. This work is going to bring you joy, and the witness of the joy from your life will be as impactful to people as your story that you're telling. And that's the biggest difference.